All right, thanks, Jenny. I want to say good afternoon to everybody out on the East Coast and good morning to anybody out on the West Coast. Thanks for joining me today for Agile Methodologies for Designers. And I am Jason Chalendis. I'm going to start out today's webinar with a quote from Buckminster Fuller. And he says, "You never change things by fighting the existing reality." I think that quote, given the time that we're living in, when technology continues to pervade our lives and almost take over the home, I think that this is an especially important quote to consider, because a lot of designers who were grounded in traditional design, and when I say traditional design, I'm mostly referring to print design, a lot of designers are now making the transition into digital design, interactive design, user experience design. And many of them are having to fight an uphill battle, and they're having to change the way that they think and the way that they work. And one of the reasons that I set out to produce this webinar and a small white paper that I produced for How in Print that I'll talk about at the end of the presentation is because I meet designers every day. Some of them are young, some of them are old, and they're always talking about an interest in changing the work that they do and taking on new projects. And I think looking closely at your process and thinking about how to innovate within your process or change your process is one of the first steps to doing that. Some of the topics that I'm going to cover today include linear processes, such as the waterfall process. And I'm also going to talk about agile methodologies. Two of them that I'll touch on today include EVO, which stands for Evolutionary Project Management, and also spiral methodologies. And I'm going to, at the conclusion of today's webinar, look at a couple of different projects, two of them, and identify if it's a waterfall process or if it's using agile methodologies. I'm going to start out with looking at the waterfall process. It's a working method that most designers are familiar with, and it has a very clear beginning, middle, and an end to take you from project's inception, creation, revision, and finally to its release. And it's much like an assembly line. A good analog to the waterfall process would be cars rolling off an assembly line, or chocolates being manufactured, packaged, and then boxed, transported, and delivered to shelves where consumers buy them at the grocery store. Now, the waterfall is something that was identified by Winston Royce in his article, Managing the Development of Large Software Systems. And in his article, Royce described a software development method that has since been associated with what software developers today know as the waterfall process. So at the time of his writing, Royce did not call it the waterfall process, but he did identify a lot of the things that we see today as part of the waterfall process. So how does this look? This kind of downward stair-stepping model is a good analog to the waterfall process. And this may look somewhat familiar. This may look a lot like a process that you follow, but you've got a very distinct beginning of a project. You've got some analysis and some strategy. Sketching and design, that's the part really where designers kind of get their elbows dirty and get down to business. You've got some reviews and edits that may happen with your client. There may be some field testing. There may also be some focus groups. And then when everything is said and done and approved, it's released and it's out the door. Well, why do we use the waterfall? The primary reason that most designers use it is because we know it and it works. The second reason is it gives us what we need. And it gives us what we need, whether it comes to return on investment, getting the project done on time, or making sure that all the team members can contribute collectively to help get the project done on time.